All right, welcome back. In the previous module, we have gone through the get transaction data. In that, what we have done is we have assigned the current transaction data to the out variable, out arguments, out transaction item, so that will be available by importing to transaction item variable. Okay, so that can be utilized in other workflows. So once data is available, what happens? That will pass to the next stage, process transaction. Process is a single transaction. The result of processing can be success, business exception, or system exception. That is the default way of handling it. So if you see the diagram over here, the initialization step is a one go process. One time it will happen. Download the Excel file and reading config and data. Okay, so get transaction data and the process execution is a uh, multiple times. It's not a one time process. So if there are 10 rows, it will execute 10 times. That happens. Okay, that's why the get transaction data is termed as like gateway. Okay, so let me get into this process transaction stage. Inside this, if business exception is nothing, then it goes to the process.xaml, process workflow. So we have got this transaction item from the previous step and assigning it to in variable in transaction item, so that can be utilized inside this workflow. By default, process will not have any activities or any sequence or any modules. Since we have already created update data workflow in the from the previous lab, I just dragged and dropped that workflow and I just imported in transaction item. Okay, so that can be utilized inside this workflow. So I just replace with the in transaction item dynamic values instead of putting hard coded values in all fields, so that it will update the current transaction item to the website. If you see here, the website is or page challenge, so it will update current transaction item to these websites. Okay, so let me go back to the RPA challenge. So that's all we have done. So let me get back to this process again. I want to show one more thing. So what happens, or how the transaction number is incrementing each time. So let me go back to this uh, process transaction stage. So if you see over here, I'll just collapse everything. So if you see over here, there is a try, catch, and finally. In the try, it will execute the actual process of updating or entering data into our website and submit, clicking submit button. That will complete our activity. Once that is done for single transaction, then it executes finally. In the finally block, sorry, one second. I'll go back to our general business process transaction, and there is a finally block. Okay, yeah, now I got it. Okay, in the finally block, there is a set transaction status. This will actually update the increment, transaction number. So if you see the workflow, there is a mechanism given for that. Like if there is success, then what happens? It comes to the success over here, and it will increment the transaction index by 1. Okay, so this is happening. Once the transaction item increased, it will pass to again get transaction data, and it will again uh, the data, current transaction data or next transaction data will pass to the process state, and process state again will execute the our update data workflow module. So this is happening continuously till it reads or it reaches the end of the data table. I mean the last row of the data table. Okay, so let me run this workflow once. Let's see how it works. So as we seen, it should launch the website first. and it should download the file. It should save, okay, and it will read the data from the Excel, and it should updating the data. Since we have around 10 rows, I feel, so it will perform 10 types operation. So as we seen over here, the initialization stage is one time process, but get transaction stage and other, the process transaction state is a multiple process. Yeah, that's all about RPA challenge demo using RE framework. Thank you. Thank you for watching this video.